Blessed evening to you all of BSM TV watchers and viewers. I would like to welcome you to another Bible session here on BSM TV platform. As we are going to pray into the scriptures as usual, accumulating the knowledge which will make us sealed for the soon coming kingdom. So as for today, we are not going to waste much of your time. We are going to learn what has destroyed what we call a religion or the worship that we have now. But before we go there, we want to highlight on a few questions that we have come across as we have been learning in this movement. So our first reading, we are going to take it in a book called Ellen G. White, A Messenger to the Remnant. So this question poses to many who have been asking why we have the Easter 2 and the Easter 1. Definitely we have the new books in the Easter 2 which are not in the Easter 1. And we have come to realize that these books, we have started to see them after Ellen White's death. And during Ellen White's time, these books were not yet seen, they were not yet published to the people to know that there are some books which were written. Do you understand? So why, the question poses is saying, why do we have these books now? Why are they appearing after Ellen White's death? So as we are going to read Ellen G. White, A Messenger to the Remnant, page 92.2, what does it say?
Why so many years after Miss White's death are there new E.G. White books appearing?
This is the question that we have now. Why after Mrs. White's death do we have what? Do we have these new books appearing to us now? Why do we have these books appearing to us now at this particular moment? So what happened is this. Let's go to 92.7.
The article that from week to week are printed in our papers are soon forgotten.
So what was going on is this. There were articles which were printed in the church from week to what? From week to week. Do you understand? These articles, Ellen White is saying, they are soon forgotten. These articles, they are soon what? Forgotten. And then what? Gone.
These articles to be gathered together.
These articles are to be gathered together.
Reprinted in book form.
Reprinted in book form.
And placed before believers and unbelievers.
And are going to place before believers and non-believers. This is the instant we are having now. Have you ever checked that you find a certain same quotation in different 2 books or 3 to 4 books? Same quotation. Even PP 537.3, the first of these festivals, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, occurred in Abib, the first month of Jewish year. You can also find it in a book called Eternity Past. That same quotation as it is, the same as it is. Why is that so? It is because these were articles which were given in the church week to week. But these articles were soon forgotten. So these articles are being said now. They are going to be gathered together and reprinted in what? In book form and placed before unbelievers and believers. So where were these books all along? Where were these books all along? The thing is that after Ellen White's death, there was a board of trust which was formed. A board of trust which had about 5 members. Huh? These were the ones who were given the authority over those what? Over those books, over those articles. If we read in Heavenly Vision, a book called HEVI 121.3, what does it say?
There were A.G. Daniel.
So among the board of trustees, the members of the board of trustees, there was what? A.G. Daniels,
W.C. White,
W.C. White,
F.M. Wilcox,
F.M. Wilcox,
C.H. Jones,
C.H. Jones,
and C.C. Chrysler.
and C.C. Chrysler. These were the 5 members of the board of trustees, right? Go on.
After Sister White's death.
After Sister White's death, these members, after Sister White's death, what happened?
This board of trustees
Right?
undertook the responsibility assigned them.
Do we understand? Now, this board of trustees, these 5 members, they took the what? The responsibility given to them. Do we get it? Right? Go on.
And was also the custodian of the writings.
Okay, repeat again. Elder
W.C. White
Right.
acted as the secretary of this
So,
board.
the leader of the board, or the president of the board, was the son of Miss White called W.C. White. He was the secretary of this board and was also the custodian of these writings. Do you understand? He was the one who was given the writings by Mrs. White before she died. Right? Let us see a certain quote which gives a reference that Miss White gave these books to W.C. White. Read 93.5 of Ellen G. White, Messenger to the Remnant. The Many Diaries.
The many diaries and manuscript books which have been kept containing the instruction which the Lord has given me will lighten my labors in the work of preparing new books.
Do you understand? Ellen White is saying here, the what? The many diaries, the books containing the what? The instruction which the Lord has given to her will lighten the labors of the work which are being preparing for the what? For the new books. Okay, go on to 93.11. What does it say?
Here am I writing.
Do you understand what Ellen White is saying to W.C. White? Here are what? Here are my writings, yeah?
When I am gone,
they
will testify of me.
They will testify of me. Right?
In future years,
these
may be of service in time of need.
Are we together, brethren? This is the estate tool we are now using at this particular moment. They are what? They are testifying of Ellen White, right? And in these future years, these books are a service in the time of need. Who would have thought that Ellen White would write, somebody is to come in the spirit and power of Elijah? She confirms it. Somebody is to come in the spirit and power of Elijah. It's crystal clear that these books will be of a great service in the time of need.
Amen.
When all people are doomed, when all people are in commotion, not knowing what to do, but Ellen White's books are referring us back to who? To Elijah, the prophet of our time. Do you understand? Okay. But in these books, we have to be very careful when reading them, because even in the Bible, God left other verses for the wicked to support themselves using those verses. Do you know that? There are some verses which which even anyone who wants to form a church, or we as a church, or we as a fundamental belief, based upon that certain verse. Do you understand? So same applies with with the Spirit of Prophecy writings of Ellen White. There are some quotation we need to be very careful of. Why? Because some of these quotation, people take it to base a favorite position that they may take. Do we understand? Are we together there? Okay, so I want you to read 2 Selected Messages 88.1. What does it say?
Those who search the scriptures,
yes,
will find explicit instruction,
right,
as to what God requires of them.
So what we should mark is to mark what is written in the scriptures, which God, in fact, we should mark the explicit instruction which God requires us to do at this particular moment in the scriptures. Are we together?
Amen.
Okay. Read 92.11, Ellen G. White, Messenger to the Remnant.
This is why new E.G. White books have been published.
This is why new E.G.W. books have been published. This is their work to support in the time of need, to be a service in the time of need. This is the Eastern 2 books which we have now. Because some people think that if I know great controversies, desire of ages, I'm full. But that's not it. There are new books, there are many books which Ellen White left when she died. Those books, we have to dig deeper into the mind of truth to know what is required of us at this particular moment. So, as we are going into our study now, our study states that popular religion and what is written, do these two coincide? Do these two agree? Popular religion and what is written. Many of us, we think that when we are believers in Christ, believers in the Jewish ceremonies and rites, we are good. We are perfect and peculiar people to God, not knowing what is written. So, as we shall see in our study, we should find out that do our religions agree with what is written in the Word, what is inscribed in the Word? Are we together? Okay, so let's go down a little bit. I want you to read the White House Recruiter 73.1. What does it say?
Popular religion has moved miles and miles away from the views its founders held.
Right. Popular religion has moved what? Miles and miles. It's not just a little distance, but what? Miles and miles. This is what all the popular religions have done. They have moved miles and miles from the what? From the landmarks in which their founders had. Do we see where we have come from and where we are now? The state in which we are is detestable before God. Why? We have moved miles and miles away from what the founders said. Okay, let's go down a little bit. What does it say?
To be a heretic now.
Now, to be called a heretic. Now, what do you have to do?
Only to espouse the doctrines originally laid down in the platform of his denomination.
Do we get it? Okay. I want you to go down to point 2. What does it say?
Point 2. Thrown out of the church because one believes the Bible. Isn't that a sad commentary on present-day religion?
Always together. This is what they are doing. Want to be a heretic now, to one who wants to maintain what the prophets, what the founders had laid, to maintain that you are going to be called a heretic. And these so-called popular religion, what do? They throw you out of their churches, as Christ has prophesied, saying they shall cast you out from their synagogues. But isn't that a sad commentary that the churches are throwing out people just because they are believing in the Bible? Isn't that a sad commentary? Let's go down.
No wonder Jesus said,
yes,
when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth?
So, no wonder why Christ said, when the Son of Man shall come, shall he find faith? Shall he find faith when all this commotion is going on? Shall we find faith? Right? Go down. I want you to open Shepherd's Road, Volume 1, Pocket Edition 12.2. What does it say?
We have wandered away from the old landmarks.
We have wandered away from landmarks. Yeah?
Let us return.
Let us return, brother. This is God talking to us right now. We have moved far away from the landmarks. And we should what? Go back. Go back to that old time religion. Let's go back, right? Go on.
If the Lord be God.
If the Lord be God.
Serve him.
Serve him.
If bow, serve him.
If bow is serve him.
Which side will you be on?
So, which side will you be on? Are you reading between the lines? Do you understand actually what God is trying to say at this particular moment? We've passed what? We've passed the Christmas. We've passed what? We've passed the New Year. What was the activity during those 2 days? What was being done? Some people profess to be a people of God. What have they been doing on these particular 2 days? We've moved away from the landmarks. Let us return to God. Even if you read 5T page 217, it states the church has stopped following who? Christ, a leader, and is retreating back towards Egypt. Why? I want you to read the Shepherd's Road Volume 1 and Pocket Edition 92.2. 19.2, what does it say? Furthermore,
the query, shall ye find faith on the earth, is not questioning the number of saints at this particular coming,
right?
But rather faith itself regardless of number.
So you see that God does not care about number. God does not care about number. When he says, shall I find faith? It does not mean numbers. But what does it mean? He refers to faith itself, regardless of the number. Do we get it? In Noah's time, there were only 3 in number. But their faith was very strong. It took them 120 years to preach a message that there's going to be a flood. But 8 people, 8 were served. Do you see God does not care about the what? About the number. He looks upon the faith that you have. Okay. So now, if the church has gone to Egypt as 5 T-states, the church has stopped following Christ, a leader, and has gone towards Egypt. So the relationship between Egypt and Babylon, do we actually understand it? Do we understand it? Because automatically the church is now Babylon, and that's the 100% honest truth. The church is now Babylon. But if the church is now Babylon and going to Egypt, what's the relationship between Egypt and Babylon? So I want you to read a book called Sunday, the Origin of Its Observance in the Christian Church. SOOCC 15.1. What does it say?
In Babylon, the same thing is observed as in Egypt.
Do you understand? In Babylon, the observances that are done in Babylon is the same as the observances that are done in Egypt. So, if the people have gone to Egypt, they have gone to the same thing, same observances, but it's just in Egypt. But the customs and the traditions are all Babylonian. Do we get the sense? Do we get the sense? These are observances. These observances will mark as the sealing of God's people or of the wicked people. Do you understand? Because the seal of the living God, it's not a chip or something else or whatever you think. Let's hear what the mark of the beast is, right? Open on mark of the beast and the seal of the living God 2.1, MBSG 2.1. What does it say?
These are not literal marks in the flesh.
When we say the seal of the living God or the mark of the beast, these are not literal marks in the flesh. But what are they?
But religious institutions. Or observances which will serve as marks of distinction.
Do you get it now? These are not literal marks in the flesh. But what are they? They are religious institutions or observances which will serve as what?
As marks of distinction between the worshippers of the beast and the worshippers of the true and living God.
This will be as marks which will differentiate between the worshippers of God and the worship of the beast. The observances that I know, and you know, is found. Okay, I want you to read it down a little bit on Review and Heralds, December 11, 1979.12. What does it say?
Anciently, the children of Israel were commanded to keep 3 annual feasts each year.
Annual feast each year.
The Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Feast of Weeks.
These are the only observances that I know that come from the Bible, and which I can say these are religious institutions or observances of God. But when we say the mark of the beast, what are the religious institutions of the beast or the observances of the beast? Because of God, which will mark as the seal of the living God. We have seen them, the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Feast of Pentecost, which is the Feast of Weeks. This will serve as the seal of the living God. It's a religious observance. is a religious institution which you serve as the seal of the living God. Do you understand? Now, the question poses is, what is the religious institutions or observances of the beast now? Okay, let's go to a book called PFF, Volume 4, Prophetic Faith of Our Fathers, Volume 4, 1227.1 and 2. What does it say? The early Christians
accepted their status as heirs according to the promises made to the true Israel.
Right. You know, when you read Romans 11, when you understand it, is that the Christian church, they were like, they were not in the plan. The Jews were in the plan. It was a tree in Romans 11. It was a tree, but a tree, it had what? Branches which were holy, the lamp which was holy, the roots which was holy. But the branches were cut off so that you and me might be grafted in the what? In the family tree. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
We as Christians were grafted in this tree to partake of the holy roots, so that we might bear fruits unto what? Unto God. So now, as this was on, the early Christian church accepted this status. They were grafted in, right? They accepted this status as heirs according to the promise. They were now to take part in the tree, partaking of the nutrients from the what? From the roots of the tree. Do you get it? Yeah, go on.
And just as they interpreted the Old Testament prophecies, including the book of Daniel,
right?
Historically, so they expected the fulfillments of the apocalypse to take place in the unfolding events of history during the new Christian era.
That was their problem. They thought now, as because they were enthusiastic, they were reading all these prophecies of Daniel, of Isaiah, right? Of all the prophets of the Old Testament. As they read these books of prophecies, they thought that all these things, all the setting up of the kingdom, right, will happen in their time. That's why they had to ask, are you going to set up the kingdom at this particular moment? And Christ had to say, it is not for you to know the times and the season which the Father has set. So they were a little bit in a rush of doing things, right? Do you understand? Go on.
The difference between them and the later historians was chiefly that they expected the fulfillments to be completed in a much shorter time.
In a short time. They expected future fulfillments of things in their time. This is the history of the Christian church, right? This is our popular religion. When you ask a person, even anyone, he says, I'm a Christian. Do you understand? This is their history. This is our history, actually, right? Where we come from. So, these people were looking forward to the future, to the first fulfillment of things, right? Even the kingdom, anything that you can think of, which is in the prophecy, they thought it will be fulfilled in their what? In their time. But let's go down a little bit. What does it say?
They did not, like the modern futurists,
right,
take the prophecies away from the church by leaving a gap from the time of Christ's first advent until after his second appearing.
Right.
A Jewish kingdom on earth was not part of the faith of the early church.
Do you understand? They never thought it, in their senses, to leave even a gap between Christ's first advent and his second appearing. They thought it would be very, very, very fast. Very, very, very near. Do you understand? But the problem is that they did not care about a Jewish kingdom on earth. Do you get the sense? They did not. They were not. What can I say? They didn't even think of the kingdom, what will comprise, or what is being comprised of the kingdom which God is going to set. And we are being told here is what? It's a Jewish kingdom, which has the principles of the Jews. And we read that in Review and Heralds, that the principles of the Jews was that they were to keep 3 annual assemblies. The Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Amen.
But the Christian church had to say away with this. What made them to say away with this Passover, away with this Feast of Tabernacles, away with this what? With this Feast of Pentecost? What made them to do that? Let's read a book called The Story of Daniel the Prophet, SDP 55.1. Nations
and peoples today,
right,
unconscious of their origin.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Where we came from, we actually don't know where we came from. We are unconscious of what our origin is. Let's hear a little bit.
Are perpetuating Babylonian religious customs when they celebrate Christmas with feasting, lighted candles, holly and mistletoe.
Right? The scripture is saying here, actually, when we are unconscious of our origin, we are taking and perpetuating the customs which are being done in Babylon. Doing what? Celebrating Christmas? Saying New Year on 1 January? So soon, we are looking forward to another festive season of Easter. People will be taking the what? Taking and perpetuating the Babylonian customs. We are going to Egypt, but we are going to Egypt with the Babylonian customs because it's the same syllabus. It's the same syllabus. Egypt, Babylon, it's the same syllabus. We heard that in Egypt, there are the same observances in Babylon.
True.
It's the same syllabus. Right? It is
in commemoration of Babylonian heathen gods.
right.
They eat eggs on Easter.
We have read that in Shepherd's Road Pocket Edition that we have drifted from the landmarks. So we now have to go back. But if God be God, serve him. And if Baal be God, serve him. Do you understand? So now it's like we are in a war between our living God, who created heaven and earth, with other gods, with other Babylonian gods. So, which side are you going to be on? Christmas is past, New Year is past. It seems like people were actually enjoying. They were enjoying. But who were you worshipping on these days? Recently we had the new moon. No one seemed to be bothered what new moon is. No one seemed to be bothered to celebrate the new moon. But when it comes to Babylonian Babylonian festivities and Babylonian observances, how we're so much delighted in those things. So which side are you going to go on? Let's hear a little bit. I want you to read where it says the root, in that same quotation, the root.
The root was not destroyed.
Babylon, the root of Babylon was not what?
Destroyed.
Yeah, its deadly wound was healed. Right, let's go on. The root was not destroyed.
Religious principles have sprung up afresh in every generation and borne fruit in every country.
Are we together there? So, the root has not been destroyed. But what has happened? Its principles have sprung up afresh in every generation, in every what? In every country. How many countries have been sending greetings and posts of Christmas?
Many.
How many have been sending Happy New Year, Happy New Year? So many. From different countries, from various destinations. Okay, go on to American Sentinel, July 13, 1989. What does it say? 42.5.
Many people are observing pagan customs, wholly ignorant of their origin, thinking indeed that they are Christian because the church has adopted them and sanctioned them.
You hear a person saying, oh, wow, my father kept Christmas, my mother kept Christmas, and I came to realize that the Sabbath of the Lord is very important for us to keep. But now, that person doesn't want to let go of the what? Of these certain what? Of these certain observances. A person who is a Sabbath keeper, still holding on to Christmas, still holding on to New Year. Why? Why is that happening? It is because many people are observing pagan customs. These are pagan. We try by all means. We try by all means from the Bible and from the spirit of prophet to show people. But they can't even open their eyes to see that we are all become Catholics. Do you understand? We are perpetuating the observances that were created by the what? By the Catholics. Many people are observing these pagan customs. They are only ignorant. A person can be ignorant without any evidence. Without any evidence. It's like the COVID. When the COVID vaccines were made, people agitating, urging people not to be vaccinated or what, but some people are giving false information without any evidence of how bad it is. This is the same thing which people are doing in religion. What? Being ignorant. When we are told this is a pagan feast, this is a pagan feast, why are you going along with these pagan feasts when you are living the Passover, the New Moons, the Sabbath, the Pentecost, the Feast of Tabernacles? Why are you leaving them out? Going to this pagan feast. Some are only ignorant of their origin, thinking indeed that they are Christian because the churches have adopted them and sanctioned them. I want you to go on fathers of Catholic Church. It says FACC, Fathers of the Catholic Church. What does it say? 300.4. Yeah.
The observance of Christmas is not of the divine appointment.
Right, not this thing. The observance of Christmas is not a what? A divine what? Appointment. It's not a divine institution. It's not a divine observance. And we have read that this will serve as distinct mark between the worshippers of God and the worshippers of the beast. Of God we have saw the observances and the institutions which God made, and the beast. Now, because in Revelations, if you read, we have been going through these prophecies on questions and answers. They worshipped the one whose names are not written in the book. Even its observances are not found in the Bible. Try to say the Passover. Passover is in the Bible. But go with Christmas. Is it in the Bible? No. You see. Okay, go on. The observance.
The observance of Christmas is not of divine appointment, nor is it of New Testament origin. The day of Christ's birth cannot be ascertained from the New Testament, or indeed from any other source.
Amen. So, you see, the birth of Christ was not even laid in the scriptures. Similarly to Moses, his body was taken, but there was a great purpose in which God has taken the body of Moses. Same why God is blindfolded all the people about the birth of Christ. Do you understand? Okay, because of our time, we want to read SOCC 8.1. What does it say? Some
have argued that the fact that the day is generally observed is sufficient evidence that it ought to be observed.
Some people say, my father kept it, my grandma kept it, my relatives have kept it, so why can't I keep it? Do you understand? Some have argued that the fact that the day is generally observed is a sufficient evidence. They think that's the evidence, a concrete evidence to show that this is good. But God does not go in numbers. It's to the Bible and to the spirit of prophecy. If you don't speak according to this two, it is because there is no light in you. So what does it go on to say?
They consider it almost sacrilege to question the practice of the church.
Yeah, right?
They think that when the practice of the church is known, that ought to put an end to controversy and bar all further investigation. Some
people, they think that if the church does it, listen to me. Some people think that if the church do practice this thing, it's sacred or it's good. But the question which we have entitled upon our lesson is saying, the popular religion and what is written, do these two agree or do these two coincide? So certainly we can see for ourselves that the popular religion and what is written, they go in two separate ways. Why? Because some people think that if the church celebrates Christmas, it's right, while it is all wrong. So this is what the quotation is saying. They think that when the practice of the church is known, that ought to put an end to controversy and bar all further investigation. If the church board says this is what we shall go with, this is what they think. So they bar the what? The way for further investigation. They bar the way for any new light which God can communicate with his people. Let's go on. So why? If you see on televisions or in newspapers or in whatever source you may find the information of what is going through in the world, if you take a closer look on those things, you actually see that before these festive seasons, people are told to take caution, maybe in driving, drinking and driving, to stay safe, right? Why do they do that? Why do they tell all the people to be careful in these festive seasons, especially when we are going towards Christmas? Have you ever thought about it? Why are people cautioned when we are going towards the Christmas? Don't drink and drive, don't smoke, don't what. Why? Let us read this quotation. PT UK, February 11, 1897, page 94.2.
In Christmas week,
towards the Christmas week,
27, there were 1,136 deaths.
Why? 1,136 deaths. Christmas week. Why? Let's go on.
In the 3 subsequent
weeks,
there were 722, 724, 738.
Why do these kinds of death happen when we are towards Christmas, right?
33 per 1,000 in the Christmas week, and 20 per 1,000 in the 3 following weeks.
Why is that so? Have you ever thought? You may be thinking, I'm telling a lie when I'm saying people die when we are towards the Christmas. Or go to hospitals, you actually see. If there are accidents, there are many accidents, car crash, what, all those kinds of stuff. Why does it happen when we are near Christmas? Let's read.
In some towns, the death rate was most striking in the time of feasting.
In that particular day, the death rate was what? Was the most striking. On that 25th of December, on that 1st of January, people die. Why? Let's read. Let's read point 3.
It has always been the religious festivals of heathendom,
right,
which have been credited with demanding the sacrifice of human life.
And that's what we don't know. We don't know this. That these festivals, they are what? They are religious festivals of heathendom. These are religious festivals of the heathens. And those festivals, they are credited with the demanding of a what?
Well, the sacrifice of human life.
The sacrifice of human life. There's a lot of bloodshed. If you try to look at it, there's a lot of bloodshed when we are towards those festivities. Go on, what does it say?
But here is the evidence of official statistics, which cannot be denied.
Right, let's hear.
Proving conclusively that our Christmas
festivities, yes,
scarcely bear favorable comparison in the matter of the destruction of human life.
Do we hear this conclusion? That these Christmas festivities are what? Are in a large matter destructing what? Human life. Christmas is a destruction of what? Human life. These festivities are a destruction to human life. We don't see it. It is by God's grace that God is keeping you if you are still alive, it is God's grace that is keeping you when you do those things. But now that you know, the danger was that you didn't know, but now that you know, you are in danger. You are in danger. Are we together? Go on. What does it say?
With the ancient juggernaut festivals of India, it certainly cannot properly be called a Christian festival which produces such results as this.
If you say Christmas, New Year, there's a Christian festivity or a Christian thing, would those Christian festivities result in this way? Certainly not. Certainly not. I want you to read our closing quotation. Open LS, Life Sketches 90, Life Sketches of Ellen White 92.3. What does it say?
The Lord has appointed out these errors.
The Lord has pointed out these errors.
And those who do not discern where Satan has come in.
Now is your chance to make the choice you would like, maybe for eternal life or for eternal death. I don't know. But if you don't, if you don't take a good clause at where Satan has come in, if you don't discern where Satan has come in, what will happen? Go on.
Will continue to be led in false paths.
You will continue to be led in what? In false paths, right?
Jesus bids us to be watchful.
Jesus bids us to be watchful, right?
And strengthen the things that remain, which are ready to die.
And strengthen the things which are ready to what? To die. So this is what we are doing, brethren. Strengthen the things which are about to die. The kingdom is soon to be set up. So, where are you standing, brethren? Where are you standing? We have passed the new moon. And where was God's people on new moon? They were nowhere to be found. But on this 1 January, the so-called Babylonian New Year, I don't know how people were very happy, they were very happy. They celebrated, they feast on that day. But is that what God requires us? Certainly not. They worshipped the one whose name which was not written in the word. Do you understand? So, our religion and what is written should go hand in hand. It should not separate as water is with oil, but it should combine together, going hand in hand. So may the Lord bless you all with all these few words which we have read, and may God bless you and have a lovely week.